Welcome to this Original workflow demo series and this particular demonstration related to print room redirection, submission and print room operator tasks. I'm Stephen Lockyer and myself and my colleague will be taking you through an overview and a demonstration over the next few minutes. First of all, a little bit about Original. We are an established European business-to-business distributor of software solutions and the associated services and hardware. We're focused on print, capture, document workflow automation, and speech recognition solutions and services. We have a broad portfolio of market-leading solutions and brands, and we are independent, privately owned, and benefit from having our own pre-sales implementation and technical support resources. The intent of this workflow demo series is to highlight and demonstrate specific software solutions and services, to explain the features and benefits that resellers can enable for their end customers, along with the issues and opportunities that can be addressed, to provide resellers with the information and confidence to open relevant discussions with their customers, and to ensure that resellers are aware of the solutions and professional services that are available to them from Original. So this particular demonstration will look at print room redirection, submission, and operator tasks. A common customer scenario is that the customer has both office devices and a print room of some kind, that they need to ensure that certain job types and volumes are sent to the print room, that they need to prevent queues building up for office devices due to large jobs being printed, that they would like users to be able to submit work directly to the print room, both remotely and online, and they would like consolidated control and reporting of both office and print room devices. So what will this automated workflow show? Well, we're going to use user submission, and we'll see some users printing to office devices and some of that output automatically being redirected to the print room. We will see print rules being applied and the solution making decisions regarding print choices. We'll see some of the available options and the fact that redirection can be mandatory or optional, and the day of the week and the time of the day can alter the behavior of the solution. We'll see user web submission through the portal directly into the print room and completion of a job ticket. And we will see the print room operators view, the abilities that they have in terms of job inspection, viewing job tickets, making changes, and then printing and reprinting jobs. Now, why is all this beneficial and important to the customer? Well, print jobs can be directed to the most appropriate print device, and this supports page volume and cost management. The availability of office devices can be maintained by avoiding blocking by large jobs. Decisions can be optional or mandatory, and that supports user behavior change. Users will have easy access to the print room and the services that they provide via the online portal. Print room operators have job management tools that support print room processes and operations, and simple billing or cost recharging is supported by the consolidated reporting. If we take a look at the high-level workflow that my colleague will show you in action in a few minutes, there are several items going on here. And it's worth looking at it in this way because some of the things that the software will do is not easily visible on a screen. It'll happen in background. If I just bring up my pointer, we're going to start by submitting a print job. And that will be reviewed by the solution, which will establish the total page count, so the total number of pages multiplied by the total number of copies. And then based on some rules, it may route it directly into the office print process, or it may decide that it should go to the print room, and it will bring up a pop-up, a job ticket type pop-up. The user will be able to make some choices, and then based on their choices and the rules, the job will be redirected to either the secure release queue for office print, at which point the normal user will be able to go and release the job when they're ready, or it will be directed to the print room and the pending queue. And we'll come on to the print room again in a few minutes. The other thing that we'll be looking at will be the web upload process. So here, a user is going to log on to the web console from their PC. They're going to browse their PC for the files that they would like to print. They will complete an online job ticket, and then they will click upload to again send those files through to the print room pending queue. So we now have two different ways of getting to the print room pending queue, either by automatic print job redirection or by using the web upload function. Those jobs have made it through to the print room. And in the print room operator will review that list of pending jobs. They will look at the job itself. They'll look at the job ticket and the details of what the customer has asked for. If necessary, they can make some changes, and then they'll be able to release the job to the appropriate printer or printers. If needed, they can issue some reprints. And then finally, once complete, they can dispatch the job to the customer. Now, the specific technology that we're going to be using for today's demonstration is the Control Suite platform from Kofax, who are one of the major brands that we work with. I'd now like to hand you over to my colleague, who will show us this workflow in action.
Hi everyone, thank you for that introduction, Stephen. My name's Nick Pugh. I'm a pre-sales analyst with Audigital, and I'm going to show you visually some of what Stephen gave you the overview for there with regard to submission to print room redirection, and working in a print room environment for documents. So we're going to start off with showing you a print room redirection. So we've got a user here who's got a Word document, and he's just going to do his normal print. And the job will just go to a standard follow you queue. Nothing exciting about this job. It's 38 pages. It's quite within the tolerance of what we expect people to print on a MFD. So we're going to go ahead and do that print. And what you'll see in the background is the Output Manager server. So you can see that job arrive on the server, which it does there. And you can see it's sat pointing, waiting to be released at a release queue, secure release queue. So nothing fancy there. Where this gets a little bit more interesting is, and without having to burden the user with trying to think, well, when should I print a job to the Office MFD? When should I take it to the print room? We can put intelligence and rules and routing and conditionality into place, so they don't even have to think about that. So we're going to go ahead and do this print again, but this time we're going to print 100 copies of it. So that's 100 times 38, 380 pages. And what we've done, and what you're not going to be able to see, is we've pre-configured Output Manager within the rules engine to look for jobs that have more than 100 pages. Now that threshold could be anything. If you want a limit of 500, then set the limit to 500. It is made up of total pages times total copies. So even though the document might have 99 pages, if you try and print 10 copies of it, that does take it over the 100. So there's no easy way for someone to try and cheat the system by doing that. So we're going to go ahead and do the print and see what happens. So the pop-up is going to appear, because that's how we're communicating with the user. And there indeed is the pop-up. So we've got a job status message. This can be customized. We can include metadata into it, so we could actually tell the person the name of the job if we needed to, although it would probably be quite obvious which job this pop-up is relating to. In fact, it's actually got it at the top there. And the dialogue is informing them that this job is probably best printed in the print room. As per our fair use of MFD policy, it may well also be cheaper to print it in the print room location. And that's partly because production printers are designed for, or CRD printers, whatever you want to call them, are more often designed for the larger volume. They're not really designed to be printing 1 or 2 pages. They like the larger volumes, the larger runs. That's what they're designed to do. They've got that kind of heavy duty cycle to be able to handle that. And likewise, MFDs are entirely well suited for reasonably small runs, a couple of hundred, maybe a couple of thousand, depends on the duty cycle. But it would be entirely inappropriate for someone, and probably expensive to do, to print a 3,000 page job on the MFD on the second floor, because you're going to have a queue of people waiting to release their jobs, or they're going to have to go to the first floor or the fourth floor, which means them walking around unnecessarily. So it's about appropriate use of the machine, and also bearing in mind, most effective cost as well. So we've given the user the option in this case to decline the routing, so they can say yes, send the job to the print room pending queue. No, keep it going to the office pending queue. We've left that optional. There may be a reason why they don't want to print it in the print room queue, in which case we could make the comments mandatory. We haven't made comments mandatory in this one, and we have made the routing optional. We could take away both of those. The option to reroute is mandatory, and the option if they decline the routing, they have to enter some comments. Because the job's going to go to the print room, so we're going to accept yes. Yeah, we can go up to the other properties tab and we can ask for extra information because the job's going to be printed in the print room. There may be some information you need to convey to the print room, such as place on level 32 mezzanine or whatever it is, and call on extension, whatever your extension phone number is. Whatever you want to convey to the print room. It doesn't have to be related to normal job properties. The job properties are going to go across to the print room without any problem at all. So whatever you picked in the driver, color, duplex, staple, all that information is going to go across. It's just the additional information that you may have wanted to pass with the job for the print room to be able to know perhaps which packaging, what courier service to send it out on, anything as part of the additional workflow parameters for that print job. So we're going to do a submit. So the job has been submitted. And you can see, so this was the first one that we did. The job is just 38 pages. It's going to the pending queue. You can see this one is now already routed to the production print room pending queue, and you can see that we've got that extra print room dialogue or user commentary for the print room to be able to fulfill that job as per your requirements. That's not the only method of passing a job into a print room. It's one method, so redirection is one. The other method would be via web upload, and traditionally what sometimes happens and still does happen is people will have a need to print maybe 500 flyers, and they know that it's got to be printed in the print room, and there are a lot of companies that still will have a print room downstairs in the basement, and you'll get a user that copies his files onto a memory key and he trots off down to the basement on a 15-minute walk, and then he gives his memory key to the guy at the desk in the print room, and the guy at the desk in the print room copies that file off onto a folder. He pushes a pad at you, which you then fill in with what you want. So this is paper-based job ticketing. So the idea here is we're going to try and eliminate that with a web-based portal because it's a very inefficient process, and particularly with things like the pandemic, you really don't want people touching memory keys and being in places that they don't necessarily need to be in. So we're going to show you what that experience might look like. So this is the Output Manager web console. We could SSO straight into this so the user automatically goes in, but I'm going to log in manually. There are numerous sections within here. The one that we're particularly interested in is at the bottom, the web upload. There are other functions that we could discuss on another demonstration series. The access to those could be taken away so that the only thing that the person can do when they come in here is web upload. So let's go ahead and press the web upload button, and pretty straightforward. Where's your file? So we're going to go ahead and browse, and we would like this invoice demo docx. So interesting thing to note here, we're not expecting users to be able to prepare or have to prepare print jobs in a print ready format. So they're going to be submitting jobs in their native format, docx, PPT, TIFF, text, RTF, MHTML, HTML, Visio, PowerPoint, whatever. So the Output Manager server is going to handle that transformation. It's through a process called an Office Transform, which is a .NET 4 application built into the Output Manager server. Doesn't require a license for Microsoft Office, doesn't need an installation of Microsoft Office, but it will convert all of the files, the 42 different file formats that are supported, into PDF. So we're going to pick the first file, and we may want to submit more than one file. Maybe we've got 5 files that we want to print as part of a pack, and we want the same parameters for each. So rather than doing one, and then I would like, I don't know, whatever it might be, 55 copies, duplex. If they've all got the same parameters, what you can actually do is you can add all of them, and then you can hit your submit. And they will all have the parameters that you pick. So let's just pick that one as our next one, and then just add the last one. So we've got a bit of a mix of files there. So we've got a docx, an RTF, and a PNG. I want 55 copies, and I would like color or fonts, whatever I want. We can hit the upload, and we're going to get a confirmation. We can customize this just before I move on from this screen. We can customize this so that we take away, you've got operator information down here as well if you wanted to communicate with the print room. You can customize these tabs so that we don't offer quite so many bewildering array of options. We could change the finishing options. Maybe there isn't a facility to fold, booklet make, or whatever within the print room. So you can customize it to suit the environment. You do also have in the other properties, just like we saw it on the print room redirection via the pop-up, you can also put your values in there. So we'll just say space on 2247 paper, or whatever the message is. I don't know. Something that's outside of the properties of the ticketing that you need to convey. So we're going to hit the upload. You're going to get a confirmation for each file, and then we're going to take a look. So we're now going back to the Output Manager console, and you'll see even before we've got there, it's very, very quick. Those are our 3 jobs that we just submitted. So that was the RTF, that's the PNG, that's the docx. They've already gone across to PDF, and you can see they've all had the same attributes of whatever we put. So you don't need to repeatedly do the same thing and then submit. And you might have 20 jobs that you want 10 copies of. So a very quick and easy way of doing it. So we've shown you 2 methods there of getting jobs into a print room. Let's show you perhaps what the experience is like for a print room operator having received jobs from a variety of input sources or methods. So the jobs are routed to our pending queue. So you can see the jobs, well, not all of them, one of them was still going to the office. So the print room operator isn't interested in the office jobs. So if he goes to destinations and then goes to his print room pending queue, he has the ability to manage jobs. Now, admittedly, I don't have a huge amount of jobs in here, but you can imagine that a print room operator may have hundreds of jobs. So the reason we put them into a pending queue is print room operators really do not like jobs going directly to printers. They like to decide which printer is going to print on which job. And that could be done by simply dragging and dropping. So we've got 3 production printers here, and it could be just literally drag and drop onto the printer that he wants it to print onto. He could do multiple jobs. So you could drag all of them and drop them all onto one. He's got a variety of tools to locate jobs. So you've got job properties. So you can see perhaps what the priority was if we set priority values. You can do your normal sorting, and you can do normal filtering. Perhaps he wants to do a thing called data aggregation, in which case here we just want to see how many jobs have got how many pages. We literally just drag and drop that. And straight away you can see he's got 2 jobs with 1 page, 1 job with 14 pages, and 1 job with 38 pages. If he needs to, he can literally route the group or the jobs within that group without having to click both individual jobs. He can just do a route to destination, or he can again drag and drop onto the printer that he wants to go onto. So a variety of tools when he's managing hundreds, if not thousands of jobs to make his life more efficient. We just put that column back. In terms of the view that he sees, he may want to customize the view. This is his most important parameter, and he wants to see total pages. he's not interested in this information, so he wants to move it there. Perhaps he wants the document owner here. He can customize the view to how he wants and then literally save a layout so that when he logs back on, it's his view of how he had it set up. One of the other things that the operator has the opportunity to do is to visually inspect a job. So you can right click on a job and view. So even though that's a PDF job, not too difficult to view PDFs, but there's the ability to view jobs so you can see what they are. This is a PostScript job. It doesn't make any difference. PostScript will render PostScript. So again, same function, but within the viewer, he has the ability to be able to open and view those jobs. So one of the other things that the operator could, if he wanted to do, is look at the properties of a job. So the properties of a job are pretty much what are in grid view. So what, this one page is PDF, belongs to this person. He can view it in a different variety of different ways. All set values, or only set values, just shows in values that have been set. So you can see straight away what's been set, whereas the other view, which is all, will show absolutely everything regardless of whether it's been set or not. So choices there in terms of how he wants to view. If he needs to, he could change that. Maybe I'll ring him up and say, it's John in finance. I submitted a job via web upload. Can you change it? I submitted the 55. Can you do 155? Yeah, not a problem, he says. They can literally change that job value, and that job will have that number of copies. So there it is there. So when he sends it to print, now it may be that he's already sent the job to print, and you ring up and say, can you reprint that? Or maybe there's been a problem in the finishing department. The guillotine's got a blunt blade, or somebody dropped a box of paper, or there was a color problem, a calibration problem, print quality problem, whatever problem there may have been in the downstream processing. What you really don't want to do is have to ask the user to resubmit the job, or even worse, the host system to recreate the job. That could take 24 hours, come out on the next processing run overnight. So what we have is a concept of a spooled and retained disposition status. So spooled is jobs that have arrived but have not been printed. Once they've been printed, they go to a retain section. And the difference between the two is the default retention period globally is 7 days, can be changed on a job by job or a user by user basis. So jobs for the finance department could be kept for 7 days, whereas jobs for the marketing department are only kept for 1 day or not kept at all. If there was a requirement for him to reprint, so let's just say he wants to reprint this job here. It's been printed, he knows which printer it was printed on. It's got two options. He can right click and restore the entire job. So that's what we're going to do. You can see that entire job has come back. It's come back on hold so that he can choose to print it on a different printer or choose to print it on the same printer. Ready the job, the entire job will reprint. If we looked at a slightly different option, which is a page range reprint, so rather than doing restore, he does a reprint. He specifies a page range. So it might be a 1,000-page document, but you only need page 44, 45, and 46. So 44-46, and that will actually produce a 3-page file, which will go off to the printer. There's no point printing 1,000 pages just to get 3 reprinted, so this is quite a nice thing. Additionally, you've got you can schedule a reprint time so that if reprints have to happen, later on in the day because of priorities, you could automatically schedule a reprint to occur at a particular time later on in the day, or even on a completely different day. So if you wanted to do that, you can. I think that's probably enough to give you a bit of an idea around the print room submission, print room redirection, and the print room operator experience. So at that point, I'm going to hand back over to Stephen. Thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, Nick. So let's take a look at what we've just seen. The customer scenario that we were discussing earlier was around having both office devices and a print room, needing to ensure that certain job types went to that print room and that access to office devices was maintained by avoiding blocking and queues. We wanted to have the ability to submit some work directly to the print room via a portal, and we wanted some consolidated control and billing. So we looked at user submission, print rules, the available options, the web submission, and the print room operator's view. And we saw that it was possible to direct output to the most appropriate print devices, that we could keep the office devices available by routing large jobs into the print room, that choices could be both optional or mandatory, that users could have easy access to the print room via the portal, and that the print room has some really useful job management tools that supported their processes and operations. And ultimately, all of this was going through a single solution, which meant we got consolidated reporting. There were some other things that we could have done. We could have added some content awareness checks to the workflow to determine what the document type was, maybe looked at what was in the document and determined security risk and print suitability, blocking the job if necessary. We could have implemented an approval workflow related to certain types of document, making sure that a decision was made, maybe by a supervisor, as to whether documents should be printed. And then in terms of the print room, there are other functions that we could have looked at, things like job bursting, where a single large job is split down into its individual component files, where jobs are split across multiple devices. So instead of being printed on one machine, you could simultaneously print on 2 or 3. The reverse of bursting, we could have looked at job merging, where lots of individual jobs are brought together into one job or one group, so that the same job ticket can be applied across the board. We could have looked at the various finishing options that we can control, and we could have also looked at job archiving and how output from the print room could also be electronically stored into various online systems. Now, I hope you found this demonstration useful and interesting. If you would like more information, please click on our website there. The link is www.original.com, where you'll find lots more information and will be able to contact us. Thank you ever so much for your time.